to another episode of the Modern Manifestation Podcast. I'm your host, Bree Brown, a lettuce-hating, wine-loving, curses like a sailor, recovering perfectionist. Having thrived in a male-dominated, commission-based industry, I'm passionate about helping women boldly pursue their life goals. In this space, we build confidence with our mindset, manifestation, and spirituality. I believe that your life manifests as a result of who you are, not what you do, and that your personality creates your personal reality. Join this growing community to increase your net worth by increasing your self-worth. Now let's jump into today's topic. Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Modern Manifestation Podcast. In today's episode, we are jumping into a topic that was inspired by Amy, who reached out on Instagram and asked, how can you manifest when you're stressed, anxious, or worried? Do you have any tips for dealing with this negativity? Okay, I am so thankful for this question because this is actually something I've been meaning to talk about on the podcast for quite a while. And honestly, I just kept forgetting. So here's what I want to talk about today. The idea that negativity is okay. And I used to think that the goal of manifestation was to get rid of negative thoughts completely. And I would say things like, we're going to demolish the negative thoughts. We're going to get rid of these. We're going to reset our minds so that we never have negative thoughts again. And I honestly believed that we could thrive in a world where everything was positive and I was always optimistic and that we could chase away any negativity. And I even talked about methods on how to do this on the podcast. But you know what, guys? I was wrong. And I've learned better since then. Negative thoughts and negative feelings are not bad. It is okay for us to feel stressed, anxious, worried, and it's okay for us to allow ourselves to experience those. Whenever we don't allow ourselves to sit in those negative emotions and we try to resist them or we try to ignore them, that's when we're spiritually bypassing. We're not honoring that emotion. We're not allowing ourselves to feel it. And so we're really just suppressing or repressing it. And instead, what we should be doing is just observing them and recognizing that there's information within them. So negative thoughts and emotions are not bad. And unfortunately, a lot of us, because of people like me in the past, have turned our negative thoughts and emotions into bad guys. So much so that we might have fear and anxiety just around the fact that we have negative thoughts or we have negative feelings. And then that's perpetuating this fear. And then you're having more negative thoughts and emotions because you're noticing them. And it starts to compound on top of itself. And it starts to exponentially get worse. Because you might be stressed about something at work. And then you're stressed about the fact that you're stressed. And then you're stressed about the fact that you're stressed. And that might be impacting your manifestation. And then you have more anxiety laid on top. And then you're mad at yourself for having these negative thoughts. Do you see how these can start to snowball into this really big issue when you were just stressed about work? But now you're thinking about scarcity and you're thinking about manifestation. You're worried about how this is impacting your future. And it's getting so much worse. And I'm here to tell you that initial stress is okay. That anxiety is okay. The healthiest people still deal with these emotions. And it's okay when we do. And of course, I want you to be a healthy, happy person that can regulate your emotions in a really healthy way so that they're not negatively impacting your body overall and your mental health overall. But what I'm saying is that when you do experience these, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to keep you from having the life that you want. So don't stress these negative thoughts and emotions because that's just creating more resistance. And these thoughts and emotions are not the villain of our story. They're feedback. It could be feedback that you have negative habits to work on, that you're stuck in a trauma loop, that you need to make changes, that you need to set boundaries, that you need a break, that you need to focus on self-care, or any number of things. But it's telling you something. Our negative thoughts and emotions are giving us information. And we can take that information and make changes. And then maybe that negativity goes away because the thing that was causing it is no longer there. Or sometimes it's just a situation where it's an excited stress. Or maybe it's just a stress you can't avoid, something like taxes. And that's okay too. And it's important to just recognize that it's there and that it is impacting you. And maybe you take that information and what you observe is, I just need a rest day. Or I'm going to do these taxes and then I just need to fuck off for a week. You know, that is still valuable information for you. And don't get me wrong, sometimes our negative thoughts and emotions are habitual. I, for one, was definitely stuck in a pessimistic attitude and a pessimistic cycle for years. And I would always default to being disassociated and pessimistic and always unhappy. And that can be habitual. And when that happens, you can self-correct and you can choose to rephrase your thoughts and emotions in a more positive way. That can be really helpful. And that can help create change. And that's what I talk about when I'm talking about creating new neural pathways to help you default to a more healthy mindset overall, a more positive mindset overall. But that still doesn't say that you can only have positive thoughts and emotions. That's just saying it would be nice if we can start to let go of some of those old habits that don't serve us, and we can still embrace these negative thoughts and be a healthy manifester. Negative thoughts and emotions will always visit us. And when they do, notice them. What are they trying to tell you? Is there any relevant information you could observe from them? Do you need to change direction? How can you get closer to what you do want? Or if the stressor or the negativity is being caused by something outside of your control, then what can you do to experience a little bit more joy? What is something that you can do to self-soothe? What is something you can do to help your nervous system regulate? So don't ignore these negative thoughts. Don't ignore these negative emotions because they're telling you something. And sometimes they may even want to be acknowledged. Maybe they just want you to sit with it for a little bit. And that's also totally fine. But don't stress about when you have them because it's okay. It's okay to have these things. I still have them on a daily basis too. And it's good and healthy for us to experience these negative thoughts and emotions when they come. It can also be healthy to rephrase them at times. And it can also be healthy to just sit with them at times. But suppressing and repressing negativity will not help you. It'll just mask the situation. So when it comes to manifestation, don't fear these negative thoughts and emotions because these negative thoughts and emotions can't drag you down. They're not going to take you into the depths of the ocean with them and keep you from ever reaching your goal, I promise. The great news is that positive thoughts and emotions do carry more weight. So when you're ready for it, when you've given yourself the appropriate amount of time to either sit in that emotion or to sit with that thought for a bit or journal on that thought for a bit and just kind of seep in that negativity. Sometimes you have to rage journal, or I say sit with the shit. When you feel like you've given yourself an appropriate amount of time to do that and you feel like you're starting to move through the emotion, not intellectualize it, not suppress or repress it, when you feel like you've truly felt it and that you're ready to let it go and you're ready to move on and get back to your more positive thoughts and emotions, just know that when you shift back into the positive thoughts and emotions, those are so much more powerful. Those are going to vibrate so much higher. And you're going to be right back on track for your manifestation goals. And because those are so much more powerful than your negativity anyway, you're not going to have lost any ground. You're still going to be headed in the right direction. So give yourself the freedom, the flexibility, the space to experience your negativity when you need to. Don't try to bypass it. Bypassing is like trying to shove all your negativity into a trash compactor and just hoping it doesn't explode one day. So I hope this episode has helped. If you are stressed about negative thoughts and emotions, just know that they're okay. Allow them to happen, and then consider what it might be telling you or what steps you might need to take moving forward. And to answer the last half of Amy's question, which was related to any tips and tricks that I have for dealing with that negativity, I would revert back to some of the other feedback I've given you on the podcast. So using tools like journaling, rage journaling can be really powerful for helping you get negativity onto the page and out of your body. Sitting with the emotion, doing some somatic work in order to really feel into the emotion and identify it, find where it is in your body, describe it. How does it feel? How does it look? What color it is? That can be super helpful for helping move a negative emotion out of your body. EFT, which is emotional frequency tapping, can really help. Breath work is another really powerful tool. I personally prefer the Wim Hof method for breath work. Exercise is also another really powerful way for you to just help get some of that cortisol out of your system. Whether it's high intensity or it's yoga or just something that generally moves your body and gets energy moving. Drinking plenty of water is always going to help. Sometimes our dehydration can actually make our negative feelings worse. Eating good meals, meditating. I'll always recommend meditating, especially for negativity, because for me, it really helps me reset my mindset, get to a more restful and calm place. Or it could even be something as simple as going for a walk. I feel it's very unique for each person what they go to when they're stressed or when they're dealing with negative emotions, but hopefully that's a pretty decent toolbox for you to start with, where you can start to find some of these tools that can help you move through your negativity. So thank you so much, Amy, for your question. I hope that addressed how to deal with these negative emotions when they come, and if you should even have to, and then a few tools that will help you do so when they arrive. If you also have a question for me, send it to me on Instagram at Modern Manifestation, and I will do my best to get to your question also. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will catch y'all in the next episode. Until then, go out there and manifest some miracles. I hope y'all enjoyed today's episode. If you want to check out the show notes, head over to www.themodernmanifestation.com/blog. If you're loving this podcast, please drop me a review, share this episode with a loved one, and follow me on Instagram at Modern Manifestation. I love y'all so much, and thanks for listening.